I have been here for, what, 3 hours, I think? And I knocked on the door and I called up the number I found on Google for this property. Turns out the resident has been here the entire time. That's amazing. Anyway, yes, very friendly encounter. She'll be more friendly when she comes and sees the painting. She suggested maybe I give her a copy of the painting. I think that's a great idea. I'll make that deal with anybody that lets me paint on their property. I will give you a, inkjet print of the painting. Fair enough, I'd say. How funny. Anyway, what was I talking about? Something important? Probably. Oh yeah, I remember what it was. I was telling you some of what informs me. I belong to a painters group, and this group has been getting together for 10 years. If this group disbanded, I would instantly, like tomorrow, so to speak, start another one. That's how important I think it is, not just for me, I think it's important for everybody, every artist, to be a part of a critique group. I've heard some artists kind of curl their lip a little bit and say, well, I'm just not a joiner. Well, I know some people have issues. I don't have a painters group because I'm a joiner, because I have to have a club. It's part of professional development. Anyway, I'll resist the temptation to preach a sermon on that subject. But we meet monthly, and so that group, plus when I teach students, I learn a lot about students when I teach. I guess I'm giving you a list of what keeps me in touch with sort of like ordinary or student painters. There are three things. I teach, so I get to see what students do in my class. I go to a painters group, not everybody there is a professional, and I judge periodically in shows. So I get to keep in touch with with the things that a lot of people struggle with. Does that make sense? So just want to let you know that. Where do I get my impressions, I guess I want to say, of what people do? And that's it. I just have given you the three answers to that question. I judge shows full of amateur painters. I go to a monthly painters group that has several amateurs in it, several professionals as well, and I teach. So those three things inform me. There was a reason I was telling you that, and I've completely forgotten what that reason was, but that will do. Okay, my host, the lady of the house, is driving out of the driveway. Here she is. Hello, Sarah.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that sweet?
Great job.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yes, you
Well, this is such beautiful property. How long have you lived here?
About 33 years.
Are you serious?
Yes, sure.
Oh my, is it your property?
No, it's not.
You've been renting all these years? 33
it's in
years.
family.
Yeah. Oh,
My mother,
it is.
She live up there.
Really? I live just about 4 miles in Noose Crossing that way, and this is my job. I'm an artist, and I went out. This is the third day in a row, ironically, the third day in a row that I've gone out looking for a big old tree. Because look at this weather, I just,
It is beautiful.
And I came by, I thought I'd gonna have to drive all the way to Wendell, and I'm only 4 or 3 miles down the road, and I turn around.
You're doing it.
So, if there's a note on your front door, be sure to grab that, and you've got my card.
Yes,
I'd be delighted to give you a copy of this.
Please, I would love
So
it.
send me an email, would you? Or a phone call? Something, one or the other. You've got all my information on that card.
So what? Just send your email.
Just say this is Sarah at 6524, and would you please bring me a print of my painting? Is that a deal?
That is a deal. Surely is. That's a deal.
Good. So did you raise kids here by any chance?
My children raised both of them.
Oh.
They're grown, 40, 47.
Well, yeah. Well, I am not kidding. I mean, as soon as I saw this place, and it just, of course, on this beautiful day. So here's what I've done with it anyway. I've moved things around a little bit, because that's my job.
That's it.
You can still recognize it, can't you?
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
Wow, how long you been out here?
I've been about 3 hours.
Wow.
And when I first got here, I yelled, and then I knocked on the door. I went to knock on the back door, and that's when I discovered your dog. So, and he was a little nervous, and I was too. So I backed up.
I know, right. I know, that's right.
But then I found out he's real friendly.
Yeah, well, yes.
And what is his name?
Ace.
Ace. Okay.
Yeah, he's about 6 months old.
Oh yeah, he's very rambunctious. Well, thank you, Sarah. I appreciate it.
I sure will do that.
Oh, do please do.
Wow, you do some beautiful
Thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah, do that. I'd be delighted to do that for you.
Yes,
Thank you.
I was been snapping. I looked out.
What in the world? I know. You don't usually see this. I understand. Thank you. Oh, thank you. I feel a little guilty for letting, you eavesdrop on that conversation. It's easier just not to say something sometimes. Oh, I bet. Are you really? Are you moving into town?
Huh?
Are you moving into town?
I didn't want to.
Oh.
I don't want to.
Oh, I can imagine. I can imagine.
Getting a senior citizen place. So.
Well, bless you. I'm glad I caught you, Sarah.
I am too.
Thank you so much. Yep. Well, hallelujah. I am 3 for 3. 3 friendly people on three farms 3 days in a row. It's not always that. Usually it is, but you have to be kind of careful because not everybody's friendly. I'm telling you this. You just listen to Uncle Dan. He'll tell you. He'll straighten you out. Oh my goodness. Okay. Whew. I hope she puts the dog in. I don't suppose it would be appropriate for me to ask her that. Ma'am, your dog's been humping my leg for the last hour and a half. Would you please put him in? Oh. Okay, I'm doing clapboard. I think it's pronounced clabbered. Am I right? It's spelled clapboard, but I think it's actually spelled clabbered. I should Google that. It's one of those words that irritates me. And you'll notice that I'm not being too exact. Well, first of all, I'm trying to make interesting marks, so that alone makes it not too exact. But even so, I'm not trying to be too exact. This is the kind of thing, this and mullions and windows and spindles in a porch railing. That's not the word. Pickets in a porch railing is the word I'm looking for. Things like that in a painting. When you are doing the underpainting, which I'm still doing, all of this is underpainting, you don't want them to be too precise. It's actually, listen to this, not only is it okay for them to be slightly off, wrong, misplaced, crooked, slightly. Not only is it okay, it's actually advantageous. How about that? I'm giving you permission to screw up with complete impunity. Not only impunity, it's actually better for them to be slightly off. Now, that requires a little bit of explanation. How can that be? Why would I want these, in this case, the lines in the clapboard to be slightly off? Very easy to explain. Once I explain the negative, you'll go, oh, that makes sense. Because if I put these lines exactly where I want them, right? They're like, get out a ruler and measure and get them just right. And then when I come to the overpainting, I don't know if that's a word, but we use it on around. All right, I don't know how much of that you missed, but I'm not going to go back. We'll just soldier on. Every once in a while, my phone tells me that that YouTube has quit, and I never know how much did it quit? Did it quit completely? Anyway, let me show you where I'm at. And I don't know if you heard this or not, but it turns out there were in fact 2 people at home in this house the entire time that I've been here, all day long. And by the way, it's time for me to grab out my camera and take some more pictures, because that is a drop-dead gorgeous scene. the lighting keeps changing. So hang on just a second. You can watch me. I'm going to go over, take some more pictures. And wow. Just gorgeous. Wow. Every stage of lighting today has been just amazing. A little bit of red, bright red leaves back there. Oh my goodness, just gorgeous. My goodness. So, you probably can't hear me anymore. I'm out of range, aren't I? All right. I feel like I've won some kind of lottery here. Look at that. Just that view right there in your viewfinder is just... How many paintings can I get out of that? That's what I'm wondering. Wow. Thank you, Lord. Woohoo! All right. Now back to trying to capture some of that magic on canvas. And again, this is definitely one of those days where if I can, you know, some days you go out and you don't see anything and you have to create a masterpiece out of something that really isn't that good looking. This is not one of those days. This is one of those days. If I can just successfully manage to capture a fair degree of the reality, I'll have a good painting. And isn't that interesting? The other day I was thinking, you know, I don't get to paint like one of my heroes, Edgar Payne, who lived in California in the middle of the 20th century. I don't get to paint the California Sierras, the high Sierras, and all the, you know, all the southwestern spectacular landscapes. Painted canyons, Grand Canyon, you know, buttes, and so on and so forth. That's just not where I live. Part of me wishes I did. Part of me wishes I lived even in the mountains of North Carolina, but I don't. So I can take trips, of course, and I do. Not a lot. That gets expensive. But here I am. I sort of have to paint what I've got. And I was feeling kind of sorry for myself. Still am a little bit, but not enough that it matters too much. But I tell you, one day like this goes a long way to helping get rid of that feeling sorry for myself stuff. So Sarah told me she's lived here in this house for 33 years. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. I don't know about you, but I drive by these old country houses all the time, and I always wonder, man, I wonder who lives there. So today the last 2 days, in fact, I got to answer that question. Oh, here's something I didn't see before. I'm going to put an electric meter right here on the side of the house. Yeah. Don't know why I didn't do that earlier. A little bit of texture, a little bit of reality. Just wasn't seeing it. Wasn't paying enough attention. Painting out of my head instead of painting what I'm looking at. Glad I caught that. Okay, I'm just about done with this business of painting, drawing with brushes. And you know what? I don't think I need to do pencil. So I'm going to take a little break right here. Wait. Nope. I need some bark on this tree. And for what it's worth, yeah, look at my fingers while I'm doing... Are we pointed the right direction? Yeah, we are. Okay, look at my fingers while I am painting like this bark. First of all, I've got two filbert, long filbert, and I'm twisting my brushes and just dragging them lightly across the canvas. Okay, learn that trick, twisting. Whew. Okay, next step will be, I'm trying to decide whether to stay here or go home and finish at home. I just realized this house, here's a mistake that matters. The house angles are not quite right. Yikes. Glad I caught that. First of all, raise this up. That's easy fix. That might do it. Okay. One of the things I really like these chip brushes for is that is scratching with the handles. Let me grab two of these. Once again, that'll give the impression of some very subtle light branches up there. Okay. The next step would be my new stage of exaggerating the color. Let me see if I want to do that. I think I will. And yeah, I can do that here, so I'll be back in a few minutes. Oops, let me see comments, let me get comments. Yeah, thank you, Arthur. Like what I did earlier. That was a big choice, a big decision, wasn't it? It made a big difference when I decided to keep that front house in shadow. Thank you, that helped. Clipboard. Historic called the clawboards or clipboards. Wow. But Joanne, is it clapboard? What I've seen is clapboard. I'm sure they're all deteriorations of the same word. That's interesting. But did you get a pronunciation? Clapboard, I think, as if it has a B in it, and clapboard. But I may be wrong. Anyway, thanks guys for watching. I'll be back in a bit.